This video describes one or two ideas for a trade of lay the draw with nil-nil insurance. You may be used to laying the draw in match odds and betting nil-nil incorrect score as insurance against a nil-nil result. Now if you normally do your trade by laying match odds, you will probably be paying more than your normal commission rate. So if we trade it all in single market, you'll just pay whatever your normal commission rate is. Okay, now if you lay the draw in match odds, that's the same as laying the scores of 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 and any other draw incorrect score. So to get around the commission problem, you could try and do everything incorrect score. Now I realise there will be problems with the size of the lays that the size of your stakes that you're using incorrect score. If you're using trading software, you'll be okay for laying below the £2 minimum. Right, so lay your scores by dutching them, but you don't lay nil-nil. If your game ends nil-nil, all your lays will be successful, so you will have profit because you will only laid 1-1, 2-2, 3-3 and any other draw. Now another method is that you could dutch all the scores but lay the nil-nil score to break even. And if the game ends nil-nil, all will be okay, you will lose 0. Now if a goal is scored, you may be wondering how you can keep track of what to do next, whether it's a good time to get out or not. So to do that, compare the combined odds of your draw scores with what's happening in match odds. Now if a goal is scored and the odds go up in match odds, and it looks like you could normally get out okay, you will be able to hit your cash out button at incorrect score and equalise all your trade. Now if you've preferred a little bit more profit, you may choose not to bet all your scores incorrect score, so you may just bet 1 or 2 of your scores to exit your trade. Your nil-nil score will be a successful lay if a goal has been scored, so you may only be betting the score of 1-all and 2-2 for example. Okay, so if your team one of the teams may be winning by a couple of goals, you don't have to bet all your scores to exit your trade. Right, let's have a look at an example. Here I am in Betfair with a game between Everton and Swansea. It's the only game of the day. It's the middle of the afternoon, but this kicks off at 8 o'clock. Now you can see the lay odds for the draw are 3.6, and we've got Everton as quite a strong favourite. If we look at the exact goals that are expected by the markets in these games, by using the unders and overs odds, I put those into the online calculator. I'll just get that up. Now these odds are from a little earlier, and you can see that the odds, the favourite odds are for 2 goals. So the market is expecting 2 goals, and the second favourite is 1 goal. This isn't a game I get involved with. I prefer them with a bigger favourite for exact goals, but we'll use it as an example for this video. We have odds of 3.6 for the draw in match odds, so let's just compare those for interest with the odds from correct score. Now if we've got lay odds of 9-2 for nil-nil and 8-2 for 1-1 and 2-2 is 27, 3-3 is 180, and there are no odds at all for any other draw. So if we compare those odds combined with match odds, you'll see they're very similar. And here we are in the online calculator. There's the web address for these online calculators if you need that. And here I've put in 9-2, 8-2, 27 and 180 and nothing entered for any other draw. And you can see the combined odds of those are 3.66, which is slightly bigger than the match odds. And now we can have a look at a dutching sheet to see what we would do with those odds if we were to lay an incorrect score. Now here I've got a dutching sheet up here, and I've put my my odds in from correct score, and I've set set the stake there at the top. So our total lay stakes are 20. So if we were to Dutch those and the game didn't end in a draw, we could win 20 if we just left our lays in the market. Okay, now to insure against 0-0, if we just delete the 0-0 odds, if the game ends 0-0 now, these three other lays with these stakes here, there will be 3 successful lays, so we will pick up £12 and 4 pence if the game ends 0-0. So that's a profit. Now if we decide to lay at 0-0 to break even, things will look a little bit different. So I'll just set the sheet up now just to demonstrate that. Okay, I've set the sheet up differently now. I put the 3 Dutch in lays down at the bottom there, and one's for 0-0 in the top part. So the top part of the sheet breaks even there, look, with 0 profit if you hit a winning score with that. Well, the others have a liability against them. Now the total stakes are 20, just the same as before. Now if our game ends 0-0, we break even with no profit or loss, and if we hit one of the other scores, we have a bigger lay liability. So that's 2 ways of setting up your insurance. Now these 2 methods will of course require a different size of bet odds after a goal or 2 goals to exit the trade. If a goal is scored, that whatever you've got against 0-0 would become a successful lay, and you might decide just to bet one of the scores or 2 of the scores to make an exit and leave the other untouched if you don't think the game is going to get to one of these bigger scores. So you don't have to exit the whole trade like you would have to do in match odds. Okay. Now I realise this is a bit more awkward to trade at this method because you've got stakes like that look of 60 pence, but most of your other stakes are okay for getting within in the limits set by Betfair and BetDAC, and you're still only playing with £20 worth of stakes. Okay, so that's 2 different ways of setting up your trade. Now you may be wondering how you decide whether to exit your trade or not. You might want to just hit the cash out button. So all you need to do is look at the combined odds of your lays, in this case 3.66, and use those lay odds in the normal way that you're using at the moment if you've been trading match odds, and just keep your eye on the match odds for the draw during the game, and if those odds get way above 3.66, you should be okay to cash out everything in correct score in the normal way. So you just hit your cash out button if you like, just to make things easy. Then you don't have to mess about with several bets in correct score. Now let's do a comparison, seeing what size bet odds we would need to be able to make an exit after a goal is scored. I put the odds in from match odds for the draw of 3.6 and a lay stake of 20. Now if we were to bet in correct score at odds of 9-2, we would need a stake of 6.67 to break even. That £20 at 3.6 gives liabilities of £52 up there, and if we bet 6.67 at 9.2, we win £51.96, so that's almost break even apart from 4 pence. To work out the size of the bet stake, there's an online calculator for working out your insurance bets. So put in your bet odds of 9.2, and we know we need to cover £52 worth of liability, so put that in the target, and it shows a bet stake of 6.67. So if you bet 6.67 at odds of 9.2, you should come out with approximately £52 after paying 5% commission. Okay, so that's how to work the bet stake out so that you break even. Now if a goal is scored, that becomes a losing bet, so stick that in that side, 6 67, and now we can work out what odds we need here to break even and before we get in profit. So you can see we would need bet odds there of 5.4. If we bet 13.33 we would break even. So they are the break even odds for the laying match odds method and betting correct score on 0-0. So that's 5.4. So we'll make a note of those odds down there, and now we'll put the layers in and compare those odds and see which comes out best. Now I put our lay stakes of 2.17 for 0-0 into the sheet and 13.21 for 1-all, £4 and a penny for 2-2 and 60 pence for 3-3, which were the stakes that were in our Dutching sheet. 2.17, 13.21, 4.01 and 60 pence. And we've got a liability of 88.34 if we hit the winning score with one of these lays. Now if we look in our other sheet here, you can see up at the top we've got 88.33 there, which is virtually the same. So if a goal is scored, we know that that lay of 0-0 is out of play now, so that's a successful lay. So that is the score that is standing in the game at the moment. So if we were to bet everything, these other three, to make an exit, we would be looking for match odds of 5.4, which is exactly the note I made there, look, for the previous setup where we were betting in match odds and laying in match odds and betting 0-0. So it's exactly the same. So on the break even front, even though our odds overall were slightly bigger. So we've done exactly the same really. We've set it up with £20 worth of stakes with a break even against 0-0, which is exactly what we had for match odds. I set it up with a lay stake of 20 and then a bet on 0-0 to get rid of the 0-0 bit. So the odds that we need are exactly the same in this example. Apart from we lose 7 pence here, whereas it was on 0 and on the match odds and 0-0 method. So it's virtually the same. But it leaves you with the option of only needing to bet. You might just bet your 1-all score to make an exit and leave a profit. You could leave that £4 and 60 pence as a profit, whereas if you were making an exit using the match odds method, you would come out with nothing. So it gives you a bit, doing it this method using the correct score method gives you a bit more flexibility. The other method where you lay just 1-all, 2-all, 3-all and you don't lay 0-0, you're reducing your lay stakes by £2 and 17 pence if we just delete that. So you're not actually looking at lay stakes of 20, but you can see now that you don't get into profit until you get some bigger bet odds to play with. Look, you need bet odds of about 6 to be able to bet at that stake and get out with just a loss of 23 pence. If we put those odds in the combined odds calculator, 82, 27 and 180, you can see that we come up with combined odds of just over 6, which is what we have in the spreadsheet. So anything above that and we're into profit. Now let's have a look at what happens to our commission if we're able to bet at twice those odds to make an exit in match odds. Remember we had a break even odds of 5.4. If a goal scored and the odds happen to go out to 7.2, which is twice the odds of 3.6, we make £3.33 overall on our trade, but if we delete that losing bet from correct score, we make £10 profit in match odds, and we lose £6.66 in correct score. So let's put those into commission calculator. So here I put a profit of £10 in, and at my commission rate of 5% I would pay 50p on that. And there's our losing bet from a correct score, and you can see we pay 3 times the normal commission rate of 15% on this trade. Now the smaller that profit becomes, the bigger that commission rate will get. If we only made a fiver there, if we bet at lower odds and we paid 25p there, we would actually make a loss on the trade. We would still pay 25p commission, but we would make a loss on the trade, so the calculator points that out for you, that you've paid commission on a loss. So we've paid our tenner, won our tenner rather, and we paid 50p, and we've had to pay 15% commission. Now if we go back to the spreadsheet and put that 6.67 back in there, and if we were to do the whole trade in correct score, we know that we will come out with the same profit, because we broke even at 5.4 using the other method. So whatever odds we make here, we should come out with £3.33 profit, but we would only pay 5% commission on the £3, so it would cost us about 16 or 17p, whereas this method is costing us 50p, and we're paying a 15% commission instead of 5. Okay. Now just for interest, we're into the Everton and Swansea game here at 61 minutes, and you can see that Swansea scored first at 35 minutes, and then Everton equalised before half time, and the score at half time was 1-1. And just look at the little graph. You can see after the Swansea goal the odds didn't get above 3.5, and then Everton equalised, and the odds went down and carried on their downward trend. So this game wouldn't have been very good to trade, as it happens anyway. Okay. So thanks very much for listening, and good luck with reducing your commission rates on your football trades.